Hi everyone, I'm Mike Ribbon and welcome to Saturday Night Shootout. Tonight, the battle of the Still Cities, the clash between the Illawarra Hawks and the Newcastle Falcons from the Snake Pit in Wollongong. Well, the last time these two teams met in season 1989 was here in Newcastle, and the Illawarra Hawks won that match in overtime, and that was a cracker, and I'm sure tonight's game is going to be equally exciting. Let's go now to the Snake Pit in Wollongong, your commentator, Phil Lynch.
Teams on court for the opening tip-off, and Tom Pottinger's a bit of a lack of atmosphere in this place tonight.
Yes, this is the quietest I've seen a Snake Pit for many a year. I think everybody expects the Hawks to win, but I think it's a game that everybody's going to have to fire up and get involved in. Otherwise, Newcastle might just come away with it.
Well, Lewis Jackson to go out with Neil Turner in the opening tip, and a good leap from Jackson to win the ball for the Hawks. So they get first possession playing in white tonight. Newcastle Falcons in their black and silver strip. And Hubbard fires away from three and just short with the first shot, but Norman Taylor swallows it up in the first shot from Peter Rousel. That one's hit the support at the top, but that'll be a Illawarra ball. Came off a Newcastle hand last. Peter Rousel getting his chance in the absence of the injured Rod Johnson. So Rousel, very distinctive in the T-shirt underneath his singlet, gets the shot off from outside that doesn't go. Easy rebound underneath for Lewis Jackson. The Falcons, four of them underneath there, watched that ball fall out and left it to one another. Lewis Jackson swallowed it up easily, and they closed on him late. That was the reason for the foul, so Jackson at the free throw line to open the scoring.
Yes, a pretty unimpressive start from both teams. The Hawks not taking advantage of their opportunities, and on the other hand, Newcastle not coming up with anything.
Lewis Jackson, who hasn't been looking to score a lot, although he's been doing some other things pretty well. Takes a tough defensive assignment every week, but doesn't look to fire the ball up a lot, but there's his points per game average at 19.1. So, one of two off the line to Lewis Jackson to open up the scoring. Let's see what the Falcons can do with the ball. Both teams are in the high-scoring bracket. They met in Newcastle earlier this year, and that one went to the Illawarra Hawks. But they fired up plenty. With Bill Jones getting the first score off the paint for the Newcastle Falcons, and they lead 2-1. I'll check out some of the defensive assignments for you. It's Jones on Norman Taylor, and Turner has the job on this man, Chuck Harmison. So inside they go straight away to Norman Taylor, rejected on the other side by Neil Turner, but there'd been a foul before that, which will send Taylor to the free throw line. Bill Jones it was who made the first connection. Have a look at it. There's the bump across the arms. Turner coming in late with the block. Neil Turner, one of the better shot blockers in the league.
Yes, and again, Norman Taylor using that great quickness of his inside, drawing people to him and getting the foul, either the foul or the points or both.
Well, it should be a good free throw shooter. Gets plenty of trips to the free throw line as a result of his work on the inside.
And the Hawks have pressed it up. They want to come out and play some defense and pick up the tempo.
Dennis feeding on the outside to Johnson. If anyone can put in the hole, this man can. Sweet as you like for two. And it's 4-3, the Newcastle Falcons. Here's that shot of Michael Johnson's. Didn't touch a thing on the way through. Harmison straight inside again to Taylor. They're not stopping that pass going in, but they stopped the shot once it went up there. And the shot went up from Chuck Harmison with the scratch.
Yes, good hustle by Chuck to follow it up. Nice soft touch for the 2 points.
5-4, the Hawks in front. And handling the ball in the backcourt is Jerry Everett. Sean Dennis has got a pretty potent backcourt. In fact, a pretty potent outside game with Dennis, Everett, and Johnson. Bill Jones gets the shot up and can't get it in. Chuck Harmison with a strong rebound. Through the elbows out there to get rid of some defensive players. No way along the baseline for Peter Rousel, and stripped of the ball is Hubbard. 3-on-2 to the Falcons. They should score off this. Dennis takes it down the middle. Good pass. And Jerry Everett couldn't make it first time, but certainly cleaned it up on the second effort.
Yes, and Jerry Everett initiated that by taking the steal off, and again a set of hands from Jerry Everett, and he's come up with the ball.
And 2 losses of the ball to Hubbard, but the Newcastle Falcons can't take advantage of it. So Greg Hubbard with not a great start in this game. Took our man of the match on us last week, but got a little bit of making up to do in the early couple of minutes of this one. Rousel looking down low to Jackson, but it's Taylor feeding from the point. Fakes from Hubbard and has the ball taken off him and blocked at the back by Turner, who's already picked up a couple of blocks in the game. Jerry Everett underneath. Newcastle Falcons showing that great transition game of theirs, Tom.
Yes, they certainly like to run and gun. There's no doubt about that. And Jerry Everett again got a hand on that ball from Hubbard to dislodge it and start the whole thing off where he never really got the control back.
So the crowd's starting to get behind the Hawks as Jackson gets the shot up and in. His first shot of the ball game, apart from trip from the free throw line. It's 8 points to 7.
And that's a mismatch he'll want to take advantage of if it stays.
Everett trying to post up on below against Jackson, but the shot from outside was way too long from Michael Johnson. And the Falcons grabbed the scraps. So Sean Dennis organising things again from the point. Neil Turner on the outside. He could hit an outside shot too for a guy his size, trying to make the drive to the hoop. He was fouled by Norman Taylor. And they're going to put him on the line to shoot two. Across the arm, the referee said, by a lot of meat on those bones, but he's a very young man. Came out of the Institute of Sport and has had a season this year that has been very much interrupted with injury. Has done some very good things, but just hasn't been able to put enough games together to make it a good season. Drive down the middle from Jerry Everett, and Everett really starting to score the points. The referee has called the charge. He says the points count, and the charge... No, in fact, it's a blocking foul. I see him awarding the points, the blocking foul on Chuck Harmison, and he's going to give Jerry Everett nothing. Well, now he's said no extra shot. Yes, points count, and the block occurred after the ball had left his hand, which is an unusual call, but the Falcons lead 10 points to 7. Jackson from a long way out, can't make it. Good rebound on the other side to Michael Johnson to get the Falcons off and running. Turner wanted a first-time pass in the left-hand corner, but Sean Dennis had something else in mind.
And Everett and Jackson have the job on each other.
Double high post with Bill Jones going out to set the pick, but they weren't able to make use of the screen and roll play. Here it is again. This time the roll inside to Bill Jones. Good strong move, and he's been fouled. Good persistence there from the Falcons, because Johnson and Jones had that screen and roll play thwarted the first time up by some pretty good defence, but in the end they got it into Jones, and he's been fouled again. So 3 team fouls against the Hawks, 2 against the Falcons, and Bill Jones, the former Adelaide 36er, lining up the free throw line. The leading offensive rebounder in the league, Bill Jones.
And David Lindstrom not satisfied, gone to the bench for a sub early in the game.
Yes, Lenny Lembo in the game, and Greg Hubbard out. 7 days is a long time in basketball. Greg Hubbard left the quarter hero last week, and he's found himself benched fairly early in this one. Good pass from Harmison on the inside to Taylor. That spin move of his, they're going to count that as a long time continuation, and the foul will go against Bill Jones. Have a look at it again. There's the bump, and the shot goes up there from Norman Taylor, who's just so strong. And we've got a 3-point play coming up to Taylor on Bill Jones' second foul.
Bill Jones questioning the call for a long time with referee Roger Shields.
Well, 3-point play coming up to Taylor, and makes it. So the Falcons in front by 2 now, 12 points to 10. Sean Dennis hasn't been allowed to do any scoring yet. He's been hit that time by Peter Rousel. That's the 4th team foul against the Hawks. And Ben Morrissey coming in early to take out Rousel. So early minutes for Ben Morrissey, probably a little earlier than he ever expected to get into this game. No sign of Justin Withers as yet, but the shot from outside comes from Jerry Everett. He's had no trouble scoring in this one so far. 14 points to 10. The Falcons in front. Lembo, the pass inside to Taylor, and harassed out of that one by Turner.
Yes, some good weak side help there by Taylor, or by Turner to come over on Norman.
There's this double high post again, a real 1-4 set from the Falcons, but Dennis goes for the right wing, off the foot that time, and the ref, you see him making that rotating motion with his hand, saying we'll have a reset shot clock. Take it back to 30 seconds. Turner dumps on the outside to Johnson, and he's been hit, and that counts. So that'll be a 2-pointer to Michael Johnson. I thought he got hit first time when he first faked. he's going to make a three-point play anyway, because the first attempted shot was outside the three-point line. Ben Morrissey gave him a bit of a thump.
It looks like Ben Morrissey and Peter Rousel are going to take turns on Michael Johnson this game.
So couldn't make the back end of the three-point play. We'll see what the Hawks can do this time with the ball. Outside with Chuck Harmison, and that shot opens up so much when they collapse onto Norman Taylor. Chuck Harmison uses that room out there and uses it pretty well on that occasion. 16-12, the Falcons lead. First shot from Sean Dennis. It was a good one too, under a lot of pressure. Had to double pump it and made it well in the end. Harmison looking for the pass in, but Bill Jones had Taylor covered up that time. Found him on the second one, and they were able to isolate Taylor on Jones that time. When they take Harmison high, Tom, that brings Turner away from him. They can't double team.
Well, that's right, and Chuck's going to have to keep hitting that shot the whole game, because it's clear that Newcastle's watched how to stop the Hawks and get that weak side help.
Rebound from Chuck Harmison, who again does that blue-collar job on the boards. Oh, the pass from Norman Taylor was off the leg of Jerry Everett. It was a good save in the corner. Chance here for the Falcons to go back in front by 6 with Johnson. That was a tough shot to try and make off the glass, but Dennis keeps it alive for them. Michael Johnson again, can't make it. Again a rebound to Chuck Harmison. Lembo looked for the pass across to Morrissey, and the Hawks are perhaps lucky to get the ball back here in the front court.
Yes, and I'm very impressed with the hands of Jerry Everett this game. So far, he's had his hands on about 4 loose balls that have come by. He's playing excellent defense for the Falcons.
Drive from, well, he had the hands going there, but he got him across the arms of Lewis Jackson. But you're right, Tom, Jerry Everett is certainly one of the best players in this league, and you just wonder how good he could be if he had been with a leading team all the time he's been in Australia. But the Falcons have struggled a little bit, apart from, in fact, they hit 6th spot in the league last year, but were bundled out in the playoffs by the Canberra Cannons in the first game. But they've really suffered in this past year, particularly since they lost Wayne McDaniel to Hobart.
Well, that's right. The Falcons have a real lack of depth, and some of their younger players have been getting a lot of court time. They mightn't have wanted to have them so early in their careers.
Well, they brought Peter Hill in now and taken Sean Dennis out, and Neil Turner as well. So a couple of subs come with Grant Kruger coming in, wearing number 11. Hill's in 9. So we'll see how they get to react as they put some pressure down court on Hill, but he was able to handle it pretty well. That's Hill with the ball right now. Grant Kruger at the high post left side. Everett with Lembo out on him. Size on Everett's favour in that play, and he used it. It's 20 points to 15 with the Falcons, who've led just about from the boxes. 20 points to 15. Kruger looking to handle Taylor, and Kruger wins that little battle with Jones joining in late to pick up the rebound. So Peter Hill looking across court, but goes on the inside to Michael Johnson. Kruger with an offensive board. Can't get it though as Taylor grabs in the rebound. Lenny Lembo for 3 off iron, and the rebound belongs to Michael Johnson. So the ball returns to the Falcons, and Jerry Everett with a 1-on-3. Couldn't make it. The odds were too great. Chuck Harmison pulled in plenty of defensive boards. Greg Hubbard back in the game. 3-point shot for Lenny Lembo that doesn't go, and very much end-to-end at the moment. And sleepy with the Illawarra Hawks defense that time, and Jerry Everett took advantage and went right in behind them. Harmison gets the shot away. Had to go a long way out that time, almost into 3-point country. Just over the circle, as you can see him take that shot. And 22 points to 17. Lembo right out on Everett. Try and stop that drive, but Everett with such good moves open it up. But finally it's the shot coming from Peter Hill. Couldn't go. Michael Johnson, and tipped up and in.
Yes, the Falcons really coming onto the boards now. They've got some confidence up, and they're playing well.
Bill Jones credited with the last tip. There's the open shot again for Chuck Harmison. Finishes up on his back, but he'll take the 2 points anyway. 24 points to 19. Screen from Jones wasn't required as Everett tried to take them on. Jackson in his path. Greg Hubbard in here on Michael Johnson, and the foul will go against Hubbard. He wasn't able to handle the move of Michael Johnson. Subs coming from both teams. Chris Steele coming in and Ben Morrissey coming back. So Steele getting his first taste of action with Grant Kruger going out. So Kruger didn't get a lot of minutes.
Yes, and Kruger didn't do that bad of a job. The first time down the court, he and Norman Taylor bumped a little bit. The bump was enough to put Norman off of his game for a little bit.
You saw Justin Withers come in there too, taking out Lewis Jackson. So it'll be interesting to see who he picks up, Tom. Perhaps Jerry Everett. Three-point shot from Hubbard that he just can't make. Bill Jones with a big rebound in front of Benny Morrissey.
And the Hawks really off on their three-pointers this game. Usually they've managed to light up a few by this time.
Hubbard's taken over on Everett, and Justin Withers has a job on Michael Johnson. There's Johnson with Withers out there, but they go in low to Everett. Drive from Hill opens up Michael Johnson, and sweet for three. 27 points to 19.
Yes, give him room to shoot, and he's going to bury him one after the other. A real streak shooter.
I've talked about the possibility early part of this game of a big score. Well, the way they're running, we just could see one. Norman Taylor dishes on the outside. Low side this time they go to Chuck Harmon, who's having an outstanding first quarter.
Yes, he's taking all the shots that are open for him and burying them.
Doing a great job with the defensive boards at the other end as well. So keep an eye on the kind of game that Chuck Harmison's having. He's on steal at the moment. Everett takes him to the baseline and can't score with it. Norman Taylor couldn't grab the board. Looks like it came off two of them, but off Taylor last, said referee Roger Shields. So the Falcons have the ball in the front court. A minute 45 out from the end of the first quarter. The Falcons have that 6-point break at 27-21. Steele against Withers. Quick ball movement from the Falcons to Peter Hill on a good drive and finished it off nicely. 29-21. Norman Taylor, they haven't found him too often lately. They did find him and they immediately fouled him. Fouls of Bill Jones. This will be number 3 on Bill Jones. So there's problems right there for the Newcastle Falcons. Even though they lead by 8 points at the moment, their premier front court player, Bill Jones, is out at the moment with 3 fouls in the first quarter. Still a minute and a half to go in this period. Yes,
that's real trouble for the Falcons. He's the one man up front that has some experience, can lead some of the younger players along, and now he's off to the bench.
Well, it brings Grant Kruger back, and off the free throw line, Norman Taylor. Taylor's one of those players you can just keep quiet for so long, but there's the coaching staff of the Newcastle Falcons is pondering the situation at the moment. But go long enough, he'll burn you, and Bill Jones has to sit there on the bench, and he might sit there for quite some time in this game with that 3-foul situation coming after 10.5 minutes. Steele looking for the 3 that doesn't go. That'll be a Falcons ball off Withers last, as Withers and Taylor fought for that one. So still a 6-point lead to the Falcons. Steele wanted it down low. Kruger, open shot there for him, but Steele gets it off the paint. No basket. And we've got a whistle off the ball this time. This might be against Kruger. Kruger putting the arm on there, and that'll be foul number 6. It'll send the Hawks to the free throw line to shoot 1-and-1. And it'll be Norman Taylor, I think, who'll line up the free throw line. Yes, it is. So Taylor will line up to shoot 1-and-1 on Kruger's foul.
Yes, once again, Norman just too quick. Kruger trying to keep up with him. Couldn't quite do it. Got a part of his body trying to hold him.
And Taylor hitting the first to open up a second opportunity. Crowd here, as we mentioned, there are a few gaps in it. Normally you just cannot see a seat in the place, but there are a few seats here tonight. Taylor hits the second one off the line, and it's 29-25. So the Hawks edging back as this first quarter closes out. Still 47 seconds to go in the first period.
The Hawks have gone back into a type of a zone here.
Just see what sort of effect it has. Normally a zone against Newcastle is dynamite because guys like this can get banged from outside. And Morrissey came up with that one. And Greg Hubbard sneaking a look around there at the clock just to see how much time they had. There's 18 seconds on the shot clock, 21 seconds on the game clock, so a 3-second differential there. They can use up plenty of time and not give the Falcons another scoring opportunity in the quarter. Morrissey. Withers looking for the drive, takes it to the paint. This could be a charge on Withers as Kruger held his ground well. He beat the first man, but Kruger was waiting. And 29-25, so 7 seconds to go in the first quarter. There is time here for a Newcastle Falcons score. In a 3, the way some of these guys shoot them.
Just a bit of a rush of blood to the head there.
2-point shot from Jerry Everett, and it falls, so that one will count. And it's 31-25 as the first quarter. Hooter goes here at the Snake Pit. Colin Duffy, what'd you hear?
Well, Ken Cole, during that timeout, he was pretty pleased with his players. Thought they were working the ball pretty well. He wanted them to swing the ball around at the top. He wanted Michael Johnston to try and keep himself in the clear as much as possible. Look for some shots from him. For David Lindstrom, well, he was just wanted the Hawks to get the ball into the paint. He said that this was a small lineup of the Falcons. He wanted Norm Taylor to get the ball. If he was marked, double team, he wanted Taylor to work it back out to a high post for the shot to go away.
Well, the Illawarra Hawks have come back in that zone, and they've been burnt on it in the first play at 33 points to 25. 8-point game. You see the shot going there for Jerry Everett, who had 14 points to lead all scorers in the first quarter. Lembo hasn't been able to hit as yet, but we've got a call off the ball.
An offensive foul on Lewis Jackson for backing in against Jerry Everett. Referee Roger Shields saying that Lewis just kept backing and backing.
Yes, Everett is entitled to hold his position there. You just can't back him up for forever, although the referees do allow a bit of it to go on. As Peter Hill fires for 3, that's off iron, and the rebound almost Justin Withers, but it's spilled to Lewis Jackson. And Greg Hubbard it is to bring the ball up the court. He's pairing up in the backcourt with Lenny Lembo, but Withers comes out high to receive. 2-point shot from Lewis Jackson, can't follow it up. Jerry Everett had good position on him for the rebound. Peter Hill on a drive this time, tried to dump on the inside to Everett, but Jackson was in his way. Hubbard, who really didn't get hot in the first quarter. Johnson goes outside, Taylor it was, who went outside to Hubbard. And this time they find Norman Taylor making his own room on the inside. They stopped him from scoring, but he's going to go to the free throw line.
And that really was a nice grab by Norman to pull that pass in.
And that's the second foul on Grant Kruger as we watch it. So they've had trouble with the players they've put in on Kruger. We've seen Bill Jones sent to the bench with 3. Kruger's gone in. He's picked up 2 already. So they can just keep sending players at Taylor, but he'll keep dispatching from the bench.
And I was surprised to hear Ken Cole say that he had to have Michael Johnson get ready to shoot.
Yes. Michael has never needed a great deal of encouragement. Why shouldn't he when you can shoot as well as he can? And that shot goes up there from Steele that doesn't go. Norman Taylor's rebound. The streaking Lenny Lembo down the floor. Good pass from Norman Taylor.
And that was started off by a really big jump by Lewis Jackson to tip it to Norman Taylor. He was way above the ring on that one.
Back to a 2-point game. 33-31 with the Falcons still in front. Drive from Hill, pulls it up off the glass, doesn't go. We've got plenty of people crashing the boards and plenty of people want to crash Norman Taylor at the moment. And that will be a foul that'll be called against Chris Steele.
And Norman just gets in, gets such great position and takes up room.
So Steele crashing over the top of Taylor there. So Hubbard looking for a passing lane. They had them cut off for the moment. The Hawks love to spread that offense out to get plenty of room on the inside to Taylor. Good drive, Lenny Lembo, high off the glass, doesn't go. Lewis Jackson with the acrobatics and couldn't make the shot on the end of it. And finally it fell to Justin Withers.
Yeah, some good offensive rebounding by both the Hawks on that occasion.
33-31. Still the Newcastle Falcons by 2. And open on the inside. Chris Steele was there for an age, but they didn't hit him with the pass. So there's been a foul anyway. So we'll have the Falcons going to the free throw line through Jerry Everett.
The foul on Lenny Limbo on that occasion. Jerry Everett really showing that at the top of the top against that zone, he has the size and the confidence to go against the Hawks' smaller guards, take the ball, play with it, and go up to the shot.
Jerry Everett, you wonder when you see a player who shoots as well as Jerry Everett shoot a free throw that really missed by quite a way, that one. They hit one of two, so made the good adjustment. 34-31. So the Falcons clinging to a three-point lead as the Illawarra Hawks coming back at them right here. Lembo inside to Withers, doing his own post-up move here and scores. So Justin Withers could tie the ball game up here. He's hit the two. He'll go to the free throw line. So James Carr's foul puts Justin Withers at the free throw line. And that's an example of the problems that the Hawks can cause a lot of teams, because they think they've got things beaten when they've beaten Lewis or Norman Taylor on one side, the post-up player, but Justin Withers can come at you on the other side and cause just as many problems.
Yes, he really used his body well.
Peter Hill's shot was a little bit wide, and the 34-34 scoreline can be broken here in the Hawks' favour if they can make a basket. Well, straight away they go inside to Norman Taylor. Good rebound to Grant Kruger. He's been hit as well by Withers. So the Falcons will get the ball back out of bounds, and Chuck Harmison coming back in to take out Norman Taylor. As we watch the replay, it was a good rebound to Kruger. Withers set upon him late.
That really was a bullet pass in that time from Greg Hubbard. However, it deserved to be taken and converted.
So Everett handling the ball in the backcourt this time.
And the Hawks have gone into about a 1-3-1 zone.
And the shot that was short from Jerry Everett gives the ball back to the Hawks. A good pass from Jackson to find Withers underneath. Hawks in front, 36-34 for the first time in the ball game.
And Greg Hubbard's really come out. He's firing now. He's had some time on the bench, and he's hustling all over. And it looks like it's lifted the Hawks up. Newcastle wants to talk about it.
Well, it's the first time out of the ball game. Comes in the second quarter after 4 minutes of play, and it's the first time the Hawks have hit the lead. So Ken Cole figures it's a good time to have a chat to his players, as he can just feel this ball game turning around a bit, where the Falcons had the momentum. They're starting to swing into the Hawks' favour.
Don't drop your patience, because what has happened, for a start, there's shots out there that you should simply be making. They are easy shots. But don't just come down and throw it up. Be prepared to make the ball work for that 15, 20, 25 seconds and get yourself a quality shot, because you are now starting to fall into the transitional trap of allowing them just to run up and down, shoot on the run and pick up some layups that you weren't giving away early. You've got to get the defense back under control. But above all, you've got to get the offense back under control. Get the ball on the move and pick their zone to pieces. Neal's inside, working inside. Everybody else get open on the perimeter and work to cover their break. Come on now. Let's go. Let's go.
Ken Cole there, organising things at the timeout. Ken Cole's a fellow who, fairly flamboyant fellow, but also a fellow who's been through a fair amount of ill health lately. He suffers from diabetes, and I was just talking to him earlier tonight, and he has no feeling in one foot at the moment, and that's a problem that does plague him from time to time, and sometimes both. Nothing plaguing Michael Johnson on that shot. Hit the three and gives the Falcons the lead back at 37 points to 36. Withers, strong move to the hoop. The ball still with the Illawarra Hawks as we go to Colin Duffy on the sideline.
The Newcastle coach, Ken Cole, just simply said to his players he wanted to tighten them up, both offense and defense. He thought they were just bringing the ball straight up and shooting. He wanted them to look around with it. There was some fumbling on the Hawks there, but they come up with possession from the side. Yeah, he just simply wanted his team to settle it down, run it through a few sets of hands, work the ball around, and then get back into their rhythm. Coach David Lindstrom, they're going to continue with their zone at this stage. Once again, he was just felt that the team wasn't running through what they practiced at training during the week, as the Falcons on a breakaway.
The steal from Jerry Everett. He finishes up with a dunk of his own. Jerry Everett is having an outstanding game here at the Snake Pit tonight. Have a look at it. Gets up off the floor and shoves it down for the easy two. And the lead is 3 points in the Falcons' favour at 39-36. Lewis Jackson can't make the shot Chuck Harmison back in the ball game, can't make it, but a tip on the other side to Justin Withers.
And once again, the Hawks' inside game is what's keeping them in this ball game. They haven't been hitting well from outside at all, with the exception of Chuck Harmison, but their inside game is really playing well.
So Sean Dennis back at the point. In fact, right now at the point is Michael Johnson as they rotate that outside game. Jerry Everett, they haven't been able to stop him too much tonight. They do stop him on that shot, but it was just an errant shot. Lembo goes low to Withers, taking over on the inside where Taylor left off, and Withers muscles his way to the hoop and scores. Hawks in front, 40-39. Have a look at that for a good move. They came at him with a double team but couldn't stop it. Neil Turner in there for the Newcastle Falcons. Everett again, strong move. Again, a rebound, defensive one to Chuck Harmison. Oh, great pass. Outstanding pass from Greg Hubbard to find Lewis Jackson. He was looking the other way. He looked to the left-hand corner to Lenny Lembo, who was open, but saw Jackson out of the corner of his eye. Michael Johnson from a long way downtown. Chuck Harmison with the board again. At 42-39, the Hawks lead. Looks like a more committed Greg Hubbard, but again he had the ball stolen off him. He had a few words to referee Shields. Good movement there from the Newcastle Falcons. The quick move from Michael Johnson to spot Jerry Everett underneath.
And Lewis Jackson must be wondering what he has to do. He looked bad early in the game, then his intensity picked up, and he's been playing very hard. But Everett's still been coming up with the goods, even though Everett's asked for a sub next time he can.
Well, Jackson is trying to take him on with scoring at the moment, and that's not coming off. As Sean Dennis brings it away and was hit by Lenny Lembo on that play, who moved into his path late. That's the fourth team foul against the Hawks. They're clinging to a 1-point lead at 42-41. We're going to see timeout again. Here it is. Lenny Lembo just never had the path of Sean Dennis and went across and was forced in making the blocking foul. Playing at the moment, Tom, they are doing a lot of one-on-one things that just aren't coming off.
Well, I think he spelled it out in pretty basic terms that he wants them to play a team game and not get involved in any personal battles. I think he thinks they can win it as a team, and he's right if they do it that way.
Well, they lead by 1 at the moment.
And Everett had his rest during the timeout. Still sucking a bit of wind there, but he's been all over the court so far in the game.
He's a terrific athlete. As we watch the Falcons go into offense, Colin Duffy, what did you hear?
Well, David Lindstrom during the timeout thought his team was just trying to simply play at a one-on-one situation. He was very critical. He zeroed in on Lewis Jackson, thought he was just trying to do too much, wanted him to look around for more support instead of putting up the shot as that one goes astray. Ken Cole for the Falcons, you're probably looking at a 2-1-2 zone at the moment. That's what he said. Whether they carry it out on the court, that's another thing at the moment.
Well, the scoreline is unchanged at 42-41 with the Hawks in front. 5 minutes to go till half-time. And Ben Morrissey teaming up in the backcourt with Len Lembo.
Probably not a bad idea to play a zone the way the Hawks have been hitting from outside so far.
Taylor tried to dump that one underneath the Jackson twice, and it didn't come off as the Falcons went to him. Michael Johnson can't pull up and shoot it. But Sean Dennis gets one away that's just a little bit wide. Again, it's a rebound to Harmison. A terrific outlet pass. Lembo off the hands of Morrissey.
And the Hawks really not putting it together on their teamwork and passing so far in this game. They're trying hard, but it's just not coming off.
Now the crowd started to get behind the Hawks. They're, in fact, sound a little bit more restless than supportive at the moment. That'll be a foul against Chuck Harmison. It was a good drive from Sean Dennis. And Dennis will go to the line to shoot 2. Shooting 1-1 on this play. 5 team fouls against the Hawks. 4 against the Newcastle Falcons. There's Ben Morrissey going out. And we'll see his substitute. There he is, Richard Harris, a young fellow who we don't see all that often, getting some words of wisdom there from David Lindstrom. Well, the first one goes down from Sean Dennis.
Yes, and with Rod Johnson out, he's decided to go even further into the bench and play some of his young players here to give them a chance to get in the game.
Dennis hitting 2 off the line. Yes, this is the earliest that Richard Harris has been in for the game. He's only been on a couple of times to my memory for the Hawks, but certainly not in the first half. Harmison goes on the outside to Harris. Pass was a good one from Harmison to find Norman Taylor.
Yes, as long as Chuck can suck Neil Turner out, it opens up that inside move for Norman.
We talked about Norman Taylor's quickness, but it was never seen in quicker fashion than that last move on replay. 44-43. Everett, no way through there, but he goes outside. Peter Hill. Sean Dennis for three and plants it.
Yes, and the Falcons have some outside shooters, and they're starting to get their eyes in.
So Harris left handling the ball at the point. And there's plenty of good ball movement coming in there for the Hawks as Harmison faked that pass on the inside. Harris, no worries at all about taking the ball on the inside, but you're up against Neil Turner, who's about a foot taller than Harris and an excellent shot blocker. There's not a lot of future in it. Hill gets the shot over the top. It's a tough shot to make when you're floating forward, but he handled it very well. And suddenly the Falcons have pinched themselves a little 4-point break at 48-44. Harmison again gets the scoring rolling for the Illawarra Hawks. Harmison must have hit a great percentage in this first half. We'll get those first half stats for you towards the beginning of the third quarter, but we've got a foul on the play, and it's going to be the Falcons on the free throw line through Michael Johnson.
Both teams have been committing a lot of fouls this game, and that's the kind of a game I don't think the Hawks really want to play, is put the Falcons on the free throw line for some easy shots.
Michael Johnson at the line, who's been a member of Prime Rules. Yeah, good kid. Michael Johnson's been a member of the Australian squad for the last few years, but opted out of the squad this year. He's had difficulty cracking it for a spot on the team, and really didn't want to go to practice this year with the Australian squad because he figured it really wasn't worth his while the way he's been treated in the last couple of years. Harris swings it right side to Lenny Lembo, looking to take on Johnson. Very busy player at the point is Harris. Taylor through the fake there at Turner, and well, there's a contrast, isn't there? Norman Taylor trying to eyeball it with Neil Turner. You've never seen a greater contrast in build.
Yeah, Norman took offense the way that young Turner came down on top of him.
I don't think there was any malice ever in the Turner's actions, but they're just very, very ungainly. More subs coming from both teams. And Lenny Lembo goes and takes a seat. And Greg Hubbard, who's been a bit of a yo-yo in this game so far, comes back into it. Taylor missing the first shot, which is unusual for him. But you get a good look in that sea of faces on the end line that Taylor's looking at, but missing two off the stripe. Well, that is unusual. 46-50. The Hawks still trail by that 4 points. Just over 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Everett got the bump from Harris, and short with the shot on the end of it. Pass into Taylor again, and can't make it. So Norman's just gone a little off the boil as far as the shooting touch goes. And short from Johnson. Chipped in by Peter Hill, but he can't make it. Johnson again. They're pumping plenty up there. Something must go.
And that's
52-46.
And that's the way the game is going so far for the Hawks. They're just not quite managing to finish things off in a proper fashion. And sooner or later, Newcastle's capitalizing on it.
Scoring tempo has dropped off just a little bit in this half as Norman Taylor again can't make it. They're getting that ball on the inside to him, but he's just not connecting with the shot at the moment, and that is unusual. Shot from Johnson, short. Harmison's rebound again. Minute 17 out from half-time. This time for Norman Taylor has to be.
Yeah, it's a good pass from Greg Hubbard to find him coming right down the middle. And again, good hustle from Norman. Game after game, he beats the other man up the court.
52 plays 48. The Newcastle Falcons in front as they've led most of the way through this first half. The Illawarra Hawks have come back and taken the lead on a couple of occasions, but the Falcons, with shots like that from Michael Johnson, have kept them at bay. In fact, that 7-point break is one of their better ones. Johnson from well outside the 3-point circle. Harris, who not looking to score, doing the right thing and swinging that ball around. Well, there he goes and tries and scores just as I talk about him.
The Hawks really standing around too much on offense right now. Norman was the only one moving at all.
And breezing straight to the hoop was Sean Dennis. 57 points to 48. The Hawks have got some real problems here. I don't think the halftime hooter can come quickly enough for them. David Lindstrom holding the one finger up on the sideline, seeing their one shot. Work the clock for one and make it a good one. Nothing for Harmison. Finally has to force one up there. It's off iron. The Falcons no time to score with. The hooter going to make at 2 quarters of basketball finished here at the Snake Pit, and the Newcastle Falcons enjoy a 9-point lead, 57-40. The Newcastle Falcons 57, leading the Illawarra Hawks 48, and the Falcons looking for their first win on the road in 1989. Mentioned earlier they finished 6th in the league last year and forced their way into the playoffs, but this year certainly out of it. Been lingering around the bottom of the ladder for most of the year and looking to put 2 wins together here. As we look at the second half lineups, it's Chuck Harmison to jump against Neil Turner, with Lewis Jackson being left on the bench. Harmison had an outstanding first half in the game. 12 points, shot them at 75%, 6 from 8. Neil, underneath they go with Chris Steele getting his first points for the second half, but continuing on, Chuck Harmison, 6 of 8 he shot in the first half for 12 points. But he put that together with 12 rebounds to be the outstanding player for the Hawks in the first half. But they're having difficulty getting their scoring going in the second as the Falcons come back and building on the halftime lead. Jerry Everett hit 21 points in the first half, not scoring there for the second. But Turner, his first shot of the ball game that doesn't go, and saved at half court by Michael Johnson.
Again, Jerry Everett taking up where he left off in the first half, led to the first basket, and he's right back in the thick of the action for this one.
Screen from Turner as they check out the screen and roll. It looked almost like a travel there from Jerry Everett, but they kept it alive. Sean Dennis and Michael Johnson in the backcourt at the moment. Chris Steele on the right. Post-up play from Jerry Everett. What a super move that was.
He's been watching the videotapes of Norman.
That was a great move. What a great spin. No way Greg Hubbard could stop that. Jerry Everett using his size, quickness, athletic ability, the whole thing. Back at the other end is Norman Taylor. He's been fouled by Neil Turner. And Taylor, whose game went off a little bit towards the end of that second quarter, had 17 points at half-time, but not shooting at the same percentage that he has been in previous games. Justin Withers goes out, and Lewis Jackson comes in. So Jackson only spending a minute 17 on the bench in the third quarter. So maybe Jackson's coming back in to take over on Jerry Everett and get Greg Hubbard onto one of the smaller people. Off the line, Norman Taylor hitting the 2 frees that time, and it's an 11-point game. It's 61 points to 50. So here it is, Hubbard on Johnson. Johnson gets the 3-point shot away that doesn't go. Jackson with a quick outlet pass. They've got 4 on 1. Norman Taylor up against Neil Turner, and Turner blocks the shot. Turner, who's just tucked in behind Willie Simmons, is the leading shot blocker in the league this year at about 2.8 a game. Would already be on that average, I think.
Norman making up for it with a good save at the other end. That's good hustle.
So no change to the scoreline. Harmison wanted on the inside, but Lembo goes to Hubbard and finally to Jackson. Pass inside. Harmison would have easily fumbled that one. It's got a charging foul against Norman Taylor as Turner held his ground. It's a tough thing to do when you're built like Neil Turner and you're up against Norman Taylor. Have a look at it. Turner at the back held his ground. Taylor just drove the elbow and shoulder in there. And timeout's been called at the Snake Pit, with the Hawks down by 11 points, and not a good start to the second half, Tom.
No, the Hawks will want to look to make some kind of an impression on the scoreline. They want to have it down within just a couple of points by the end of the quarter, and they're not making much progress towards that.
Well, Coach David Lindstrom has got to be concerned. He was down by 7 points, down by 9 points at halftime, and he's watched that go out to 11. And he certainly doesn't want it to go out any further. There just doesn't seem to be the same fire in the Hawks' bellies as there has been in previous weeks. Tom, they didn't hit a 3-pointer in the first half, and really that's been one of their strengths, their ability to hit from the outside.
Well, that's been their game this year, is for the smaller guards from the Hawks to make up for that lack of size by burning teams from the outside when they least expected.
Well, we'll go to the sideline to Colin Duffy and find out what he heard in the timeout break. We won't hear from him just yet. As we go on the inside, Norman Taylor picks up the dregs. And Hubbard feeding Lewis Jackson for a three-point shot. Still they haven't hit a three, but Norman Taylor on the other side, with those well-tuned hands of his, grabs 2 points back for the Hawks. 52-61.
And that's been the way the game's going. Just not quite right. Just that little difference between picking up the points they want.
Everett, he got Lewis Jackson into all sorts of problems on that move. He had him spinning and virtually had him uncorking himself on the end of it. Have a look at it. He had him move every which way and then sends him into the air. Up underneath is he had Jackson jumping towards him. Jackson's problem was that he wasn't jumping straight up and down, he was jumping forward, and puts Jerry Everett at the free throw line.
Well, that's one of Lewis Jackson's favorite moves, to get people dancing and then put them up in the air and have them come down. But it's strange they didn't call that the other end earlier in the game, the same type of play.
Well, no one has been able to handle Jerry Everett tonight. He's just been a player on his own in this game. Perimeter passing from the Illawarra Hawks inside, but the return pass out. A rare miss from Chuck Harmison on a good night that he's having. 63-52, 2-point shot from Michael Johnson that ends up as a rebound for Greg Hubbard. Hawks haven't been able to get their running game into action at all. Norman Taylor taking on Neil Turner, and Turner winning that battle again. So Neil Turner doing well on the inside against Norman Taylor and handling him as well as we've seen anyone do. 3-point shot from Sean Dennis was banged off the board by Jackson. Here's a 3-on-2 to the Hawks. They both backed it off outside the 3-point line, but couldn't get a shot. And that'll be a foul. Foul goes against Chris Steele across the arms of Lewis Jackson. Third team foul against the Falcons. 2 against the Hawks at this stage of the third quarter.
And the Hawks really needing to play with some maturity right here. They're just sort of going up and down the court, not making it just the way they want it to go, as David Lindstrom has pointed out.
Almost turning the ball over again. In fact, they tried to turn it over a third time. Free throw line shot from Chuck Harmison, which is money in the bank for him. And 63-54. So the Hawks still have a big job in front of them, and the Newcastle Falcons are a great team of front runners. Whilst ever they're out in front, they'll really pile it on. Turner again, he's been fouled, and Turner will go to the free throw line. It was a good move from the big fellow. Good strong move to the hoop. Got the return pass at the right time. So Turner will go to the free throw line on this foul from Lewis Jackson.
Certainly the help was there from Lewis, but he wasn't too subtle in the way he did it.
So Turner hits off the free throw line, his opening points of the ball game, but really point scoring isn't his go. It's his work at the defensive end that is real value to the team.
So the Hawks still down by 11, needing to cut into that lead.
Jackson on the inside this time, and he's been fouled by Chris Steele. He feels to make sure he's just got a full mouthful of teeth there. Jackson will go to the free throw line on Steele's third foul. And no sign of Bill Jones, Tom, since we saw him rack up those early 3 fouls in the first quarter.
No, Ken Cole figuring if you're in front, stay with what got you there.
And the shot from Lewis Jackson, just not going for him from the free throw line. The Hawks need all these if they're going to make an impression on this Falcons lineup. Down by that 11 points again. And canning the second one. So the Falcons machine just keeps rolling on. This fellow leading the way, Jerry Everett. Steele with the pass to Johnson. Showing a lot of patience this time, the Falcons. Playing it well. And you wonder, a team that is playing like this, how they can occupy the bottom rung of the ladder, but stepping out of bounds that time and turning it over. Hubbard. Jackson on the end of a Taylor pass after Taylor had drawn a crowd.
Yes, the double team came and Norman found the open man with a good pass.
So let's see if Jackson is a little bit more successful at the free throw line this time. Neil Turner's foul puts Jackson there. And the crowd silent for a moment as he rolls that one over the front of the rim. It doesn't matter how they go in, they all count for a point. And Lewis Jackson, who I mentioned before, hasn't done a lot of scoring, as you might expect some of the important players to do for the Hawks, but he's had his hands full tonight with Jerry Everett.
Well, that's one of the other things is you don't often see your second American import taking the other team's leading scorer, but Lewis has often done that.
And good hands there from Chuck Harbison to cut out the pass that was meant for Everett. Everett had good body position on Jackson as well. Lenny Lembo gets the shot down. His first points of the ball game, and they've been a while coming. 65-59, and maybe the Hawks back within 6 have just started on a mini roll here.
The crowd's starting to get behind the Hawks. They sense this is a chance to pick up on that lead.
Everett sneaking out from behind the screen. The shot is short. And on the end line there, Chris Neal, as he tried to save that one. That'll be a Hawks ball in the backcourt.
And Michael Johnson really having a lot to say to the referee, saying that Jerry Everett got whacked on the arm.
I think he had a pretty fair case too.
Yes, I thought so too.
Jackson on the turnaround. Johnson, it's Taylor with a rebound. 3-point shot from Lembo, makes 2 in a row. That's the sort of thing that lifts the Hawks. 65-62. Lenny Lembo with his second one in a row. That one counts for an extra point. That's enough for Ken Cole. Timeout he calls. His team was up by 11 points. The Hawks have trimmed that lead to 3 at 65-62 and trying to just stop this roll. The shot comes up from Greg Hubbard, who can't make it. Hubbard has had a lot of difficulty in buying a basket tonight. Hit 33 points last week in a great effort against the Sydney Kings. Fake there from Michael Johnson, gets that shot up, but Kruger tried to win it off Chuck Harbison on the board. 4 on 3, good pass to Jackson. Oh, what a super play.
Yes, great movement by the Hawks.
Have another look at it. A good pass on the inside for Jackson to find Taylor with a little finger roll. Everett, help out here from Harmison on him. This time, Dennis opens things up for the Falcons. Screen from Kruger. They didn't use it. Goes Sean Dennis up against Lenny Lembo. The shot doesn't go. Big rebound, Jerry Everett. What a great play.
Way up in the sky. He's doing everything. He's got the job on Greg Hubbard, and I think that's one of the reasons Greg isn't going quite so well tonight, is Everett's size and quickness has really made things difficult for Hubbs.
Low post. Hubbard gets past him this time. Good pass on the inside. Return pass with a 2-man play with Norman Taylor.
Well, if you can't shoot it yourself, that's a good second choice.
Have a look at that. Super pass there from Greg Hubbard as Turner came at him. 68-66 and still the Falcons in front. Kruger, post-up play, and Chuck Harbison holding his position that time. Kruger ended up over the top of him. But the referee just said it's an out-of-bounds ball. Have a look at it.
Harmison really got a hand on the ball that time.
He gets laid on his backside as well as they line up along the free throw lane. Oh, gee, that's quite a screen. The Kruger. The referee was adamant that it was a bit too solid. The Kruger's got such a big body. He really laid some on him that time, but it would have been a difficult call for the referee to make as well.
Yes, it's hard to tell whether he's moving or stationary. The referee had judged that he was moving at the time.
3 fouls on Grant Kruger now. Still no sign of Bill Jones. Still the Falcons in front by 2. Turner behind Taylor there. As Lembo goes onto the paint and has that one blocked by Peter Hill. He was looking for the pass off to Taylor, had to make a last-second decision to take the shot, and it was easy meat for Hill. Johnson. Low to Turner. And the foul will go against Norman Taylor. It'll send Neil Turner to the free throw line again as he threw up a little left-handed jump hook that does cause a lot of problems. It's a difficult shot to guard, particularly a guy like Neil Turner, who's about 6'10". Over the top of Norman Taylor.
That'll be his sixth. That'll be his third foul.
Pensive member of the crowd there doing a little fingernail biting. So Turner with the second shot to give his team a 4-point break. He does just that at 70-66 in the Snake Pit. Now here's Everett again out on Hubbard. Put the clamps right on him. No way for Taylor there. And Jackson got rid of Kruger with a little fake, set him out of the way and hit the 2.
Yes, I think Lewis can score on Kruger every time if he'll just be calm about it and not try and force it too much.
Hill working against Lembo, and Hill was left alone. Easy one as he left Lembo back at the free throw line and kissed it off the glass for 2. Interesting battle going on between Lembo and Hill, both Institute of Sport graduates, as is Neil Turner, as is Grant Kruger, so there's plenty of them out there. 3-point shot from Hubbard, under a lot of pressure, and that's the first 3 for Greg Hubbard.
And at last, that's one he really needed.
Hadn't been a lot of scoring opportunities like that one for Greg Hubbard. It was a tough shot because Jerry Everett was right up on him as well. 72-71 right now as they turn it over. Hubbard left away against Peter Hill. And he's fouled as well. Makes the 2. And he can hit a 3-point play here. Have a look at it. Good strong drive, had his eye on the rim the whole way. Peter Hill had to go across his shoulder. Substitutions coming from the Hawks bench. They take out Norman Taylor and Lenny Lembo. Justin Withers coming in with Peter Rousel. And Ben Morrissey comes in as well with Lewis Jackson taking a seat. The Falcons have decided to make a change as well and taken out Grant Kruger.
The Hawks have nosed in front by 2 at last.
Sean Dennis back in the ball game, takes over to play the point. Still with that 1-4 alignment that's been so successful for them. Michael Johnson for 2 that doesn't quite fit. Hawks with a 2-point lead, one of the rare times they've been down the court with a lead. Hubbard and has that one blocked. Johnson pulls it up for a 3-point shot and can't make it go. The Hill fought for it on the end line, but it finally fell in the hands of Withers. Morrissey looking down court towards Hubbard there, but he was covered up. Withers wants it in low. The Hawks will try and hold on to this lead with this 5 they got on the floor to try and rest up Jackson and Taylor on the bench. And a travel called against Peter Rousel. Costly turnover just when they had the chance to put a little gap in the score. So a chance here now for the Newcastle Falcons to tie it up with 30 seconds to go till 3/4 time. Everett sneaking a look at the clock with Rousel up on him. Help out from Withers, help from Harmison. And finally one of them had to foul him. And Jerry Everett goes to the free throw line.
And one man just took on all 3 of them and didn't have any trouble at all. Just so quick. And he must be in great shape, Phil, because I can't recall him being off the court for any.
He hasn't been off at all, and he just hasn't shown any signs of slowing up at all. I guess when you're having a game as great as he is, you just don't feel any pain or anything.
Well, he's done a lot. He's played great defense, scored offensively, and come up with a lot of rebounds this game.
And that ties it up at 74 points apiece. The Hawks have the last throw of the dice here in the 3rd quarter, with just 10 seconds left on the clock now till 3/4 time. Hubbard trying to put a couple together. Can't make that one. It's off iron. Not enough time for the Falcons to score. Jerry Everett knew that as the hooter goes. And the score at 3/4 time is 74 apiece. Duffy, what'd you hear?
Well, Coach Ken Cole, obviously, as you can see on court, big Bill Jones back into this match. They'll probably look at a 2-1-2 matchup in defense, but he just wants them to run through their regular offense for this final quarter. For the Hawks, they're simply going to try and work to the money man in the middle. Norman Taylor straight away from the start of play. Lenny Lembo goes against his coach and puts one up from out wide.
Well, it didn't fall for them, so a chance here for the Newcastle Falcons to poke their nose in front again. Michael Johnson has had trouble hitting from the outside tonight. Not getting that one either, but it's going to be a Falcons ball from the front court. The appeal from Greg Hubbard was turned down.
That's been the Hawks game all year. People like Limbo and Hubbard taking the three-point shots and having them drop, but just not dropping at all tonight.
Clearing out one side for Jerry Everett, and he's been fouled by Norman Taylor. That was a smart play from the Falcons. They just emptied out the left-hand side entirely. That left all that side, and Norman Taylor coming across to help can only succeed in fouling. Norman Taylor, 4 fouls now on Taylor, so there's a real problem that the Hawks have got, and perhaps swings things in favour of the Falcons because they've got Bill Jones back in there, and he had 3 in the first quarter, but 1 less than the Hawks big man. So 76-74 on Everett's successful free throws. Drive from Greg Hubbard, passed off to Justin Withers. A good move from Hubbard. 76 apiece. Get the feeling these teams could go neck and neck down the stretch here. But we'll see how the final quarter unfolds for you. Don't go away, because you could miss something here towards the end. Johnson goes on the outside to Dennis. Bill Jones heads for the paint and scores, so he's been sitting on that hand out there on the bench to keep it warm. Comes in with his first shot and scores with it on a pretty tough shot as well. Norman Taylor underneath, and Jackson, and a little finger roll on the end of it.
A good double pump fake by Lewis Jackson to get Bill Jones up in the air.
78 apiece. Everett backs it off, and Jackson would love to see the end of Jerry Everett tonight. Dennis, Everett again, and blocked that time by Jackson, so that'll make him feel a little bit better. Have a look at it again. Confronted by Taylor, Jackson coming from the side, got a good piece of that ball and swatted it over the end line. And here he goes again. Don't keep him quiet for long. Jerry Everett. What a scoring machine.
And he's just dancing through the Hawks without any trouble at all. Just has that great quickness.
Justin Withers lining up low on the same side as Norman Taylor and pumping on the outside to Lembo. Penetration. Baseline shot there from Greg Hubbard with the one-hander was good. 80 points apiece.
Really adjusted that one for some elevation.
Hubbard was kept so quiet for 3 quarters and finally put him together towards the end of the game. Hand around the back there of Johnson to strip him of the ball. And it's still a Falcons ball, so score's still locked together. 80 points apiece. Falcons looking for the lead on this play. Peter Hill handling things in the backcourt. Johnson with Hubbard up on him. On a runner and can't get it to go. It's just not going for Michael Johnson tonight, but it does on a second effort. And 82 points to 80. Bit of a warning here from the referee, Roger Shields, asking the Falcons to just not touch the ball after it's gone through the hoop. Some players like to grab it. Just does slow things up a little bit, stops that quick inbound pass.
Yes, there's a lot of teams that break right from the out of bounds.
Jackson couldn't make the 3, cleaned up by Hill. And so the Falcons have a chance to pinch a mini break again. 82-80 they lead. They'll have to get the ball in this man's hands. Why shouldn't they? Gee, he's done everything. Jerry Everett with another one.
Yes, it's a one-man show tonight. So far, the Hawks haven't been able to come up with the answer to stop him. Same way as many teams haven't got the answer for Norman Taylor.
84-80. Bill Jones doing a pretty solid job in the opening of the fourth quarter on Taylor, but Withers on the other side and tipped down by Bill Jones, and Withers couldn't make it again. That'll be a Falcons ball. Withers got the last touch. So Withers had a good scoring opportunity after Jones had tipped it back down to him, but couldn't finish it off. Three-point shot from Michael Johnson. Finally hits one from outside.
Yes, used the screen well to free himself up, get rid of Greg Hubbard for the first time for a long time.
Well, with a 7-point break to the Newcastle Falcons, David Lindstrom's got to haul his troops in here for a bit of a tongue lashing. Which isn't a very good sign, Colin Duffy.
It certainly isn't. Let's hope that's not for the Hawks. during that timeout, Ken Cole was pretty pleased with the effort the starting final quarter by his side. He also wants them to take the ball straight at Norman Taylor. He feels that 4 fouls. He wants to get Norman Taylor fouled out of this match. David Lindstrom, he just simply said he wants his side to tighten up the defence. He said you've got to certainly stop them before you start worrying about your offence. So he wants a big defensive effort in his final minutes.
Well, let's see what Everett can do against Lewis Jackson this time with the ball. Well, passing off, but passing into the hands of a three-point shooter like Michael Johnson. And that's a pretty good pass.
And that's a bad sign for the Hawks as Michael Johnson is starting to heat up. He's been cold most of the game, and now he's starting to find the range.
And we've got a foul here. It will go against Bill Jones, I think, for number 4. Norman Taylor trying to take him on there. So that's Bill Jones has sat for a long part of this game, pick up his 4th foul with 7:33 to go. He could hold the key to this game as long as how long he can stay in there and hold out Norman Taylor. Here's Taylor again, taking him on, and throws the hook up there as Bill Jones had to just hold back a little bit there.
And again, good footwork by Norman, just taking that step right around.
90 points to 84. But the Hawks have got all the problems at this end of the court in holding back Johnson and Everett at the moment. There's Johnson. Jones working against Norman Taylor. Of course, Taylor's playing with 4 fouls himself, and Bill Jones starting to score on him. Off the paint. Makes it 2, 92-84. 6:50 to go. Still plenty of time for either team to win this game. Inside to Justin Withers, but it comes straight back out to Lenny Lembo. Withers to work this time on Michael Johnson. Leaves Peter Hill's blade on the floor, but the 2 points count to Justin Withers, and it's back to 6, 92-86. Each defensive play for the Hawks becoming critical right now as Johnson gets one off and gets one to miss, but still it's a Falcons ball. Michael Johnson, second effort shot. As the referee says stop the clock because that ball had been knocked away again.
David Lindstrom asking for a technical, but referee Cooper saying no, it just came off the man's leg. They didn't touch it with their hands.
94-86. The Falcons having no trouble scoring at all. Good pass inside from Taylor to Withers. 1-2 punch on the inside. So whilst they've had Taylor a bit bottled up, it's Withers at the moment going to work on Michael Johnson.
But the 3 stars of the Falcons are really coming in good in the 4th quarter.
Johnson, Taylor out to him, and Michael Johnson, boy, has he found the range. Couldn't believe a guy could be so cold for 3 quarters and in the final quarter really light up so well. Under a lot of pressure, Greg Hubbard shooting that one. And away comes Peter Hill. Oh, what a great pass. Jerry Everett tried to finish it off with an alley-oop dunk, but didn't go. 3-point shot from Greg Hubbard. Withers got a hand on that one. Taylor kept at it. Goes to the hoop and scores. 96 points to 90.
And how Jerry Everett gets the energy to pull a dunk like that this late in the game after everything he's done.
So it's still a 6-point game with 5 minutes to go. Each team would have the feeling right now, don't miss. You let the other mob in. Well, a steal coming from Greg Hubbard as he took it off Jerry Everett. And no whistle as the players are left on the floor. Hubbard appealing for an extra free throw, made the 2.
And Jerry Everett down on the floor, hand holding his face, asking that he got a hit in the face.
96-92, you saw the score, but Jerry Everett had the ball stripped from him. Assistant coach Dennis Kibble out there having something to say to Rod Cooper. Interesting guy, Dennis Kibble. He is actually the man who gave the snake pit its name. Well, watch it again. Watch the steal. Well, it was difficult to see if maybe the ball came off his face because Hubbard's hand seemed to be fairly low on the body. 96-92. Oh, Michael Johnson under enormous pressure to take that shot, but a big rebounder, Sean Dennis offensively.
That's one of the troubles when they shoot them that far out. They come back out a long way on the rebound.
Peter Hill looking to take on Withers. Floats and can't get it to fall. So a chance here for the Hawks to edge 2 points closer. Lembo on the drive, feeding Withers, who just couldn't quite find the handle on it. Hubbard with plenty of moves. Out to Norman Taylor. Takes it onto the paint and gets the second effort. Oh dear, oh dear. Man, there's like a bull in a china shop, and there were cups and saucers and plates going everywhere on that one.
And the Hawks lucky to get away with that one. That certainly wasn't in the playbook. That was just a matter of whoever fumbled got the last chance.
Bill Jones looking to get them back, but dishes on the outside. Sean Dennis for three. He can hit it all right. 99-94. Dennis hasn't had a lot of scoring opportunities, but Taylor again gets Bill Jones going past. That is 99-96. All of a sudden, it's become a lot easier to score. Now does Ken Cole getting Neil Turner to come back in as he's watching Norman Taylor go to work on Bill Jones. I wonder if he'll leave Bill Jones in there and just look for the help man, Neil Turner. Everett. Oh, pass shot there from Michael Johnson. He was hit by Hubbard, so Johnson will go to the free throw line. It was a tough shot to try and make.
And Lewis Jackson's made something of an impression on Jerry Everett the last couple of times down the floor. Off the ball the last time, there was a little hand swatting game being played between Lewis Jackson and...
That move there that Johnson makes is a tough move to make. He makes it so well. Catches the ball looking away from the basket. And you'll notice the lineup. There's no Newcastle Falcon lining up for the rebound. And done this a couple of times in the game. They showed complete faith in the shooter. He makes one of two.
And as I was saying, Jerry Everett was swatting back with Lewis Jackson, and that's a sure sign that he's got his mind on something else than what he should have.
So 100-96. The Falcons in front by 4 with 3 minutes to go. Withers wanted it on the paint. Now he gets it from Taylor. Works on the inside, and there's been a foul. It'll send Withers to the free throw line. It's just a two-man game at the moment with Taylor and Withers working on the inside. Have a look at this drive. Michael Johnson's foul just with the block, got the body on. The help out at the back there from Neil Turner was too late. The foul had already occurred.
Justin Withers saying he can score on Michael Johnson every time.
Well, he can't hit it off the free throw line. He makes it 100-97. 3-point game. Johnson. Oh, Jerry Everett had the head and shoulders in front that time of Lewis Jackson. So another foul to Jackson, but stopped him from scoring at least. 4 fouls Lewis Jackson. 3rd team foul the Hawks. Just 2 against the Falcons. Help out from Lenny Lembo that time, but again it's the clear out play. He has to take on 3 and does it and scores.
Yes, that offense isn't too hard. Put 4 on one side and give Jerry Everett the ball on the other side.
Greg Hubbard with a drive to find Norman Taylor. Gets that one back and heads to the hoop. We've got another foul. It's going to be either Sean Dennis or Neil Turner. They can pick either one, I think. So they're going to send Norman Taylor to the free throw line. In fact, it's Jerry Everett, I think, got an arm in there. 3 team fouls apiece. 2 minutes 20 to go. The Hawks trail by 5 with Taylor on the line. And really, they've struggled a little bit at the free throw line tonight, which is unusual for them because they're a good free throw shooting club. Picture of concentration. Taylor makes 1 of 2. And 102-98.
The Hawks have extended their defense. They know that this is a pressure time. They've only got 2 minutes to make up that deficit. That's plenty of time. If they can just cut out the top scorers of the Falcons.
Brought back Chuck Harmison and taken out Justin Withers. Ben Morrissey in there. 3-point shot that's short. And look who's on the end of it. Jerry Everett, but a good block that time from Lewis Jackson. Everett having something to say to referee Rod Cooper on the way down. Jackson gets it up into the hands of Harmison. Put Taylor down low against Turner. Have a look at this for a battle. And we've got a travel. And Turner effective on that one. Got their hand up over the top. Set Taylor back to the ground there for the travel. Haven't seen too many of those this season. Everett, help out there from Morrissey was good. Peter Hill, hard off the window. Big rebound in the end from Lewis Jackson. Hubbard, pass on the inside to Taylor.
Oh, great pass from Greg
We've got
Hubbard.
a 2-point ball game here with 1:15 to go. Good pass from Hubbard to find Taylor. 102-100. The Falcons have called timeout with 1:10 to go. There's the scoreline. That's what Ken Cole's faced with. It's a Falcons ball when they come back. And you get the feeling that the Falcons really have to score on this play right here. Got the foul count, so I think from memory it was 3 team fouls apiece.
I wonder if we're going to see Jerry Everett with one side of the floor again. Hasn't been a bad option so far for Newcastle.
Yes, it's worked about 75% of the times they've tried it. Well, they're going to go right side this time as they seem to have emptied out a little bit. Here it is. They covered it that time, but Michael Johnson gets the shot off, but can't make it in. Oh, I said they had to score on that play. We'll see how that pans out. 50 seconds to go. The Hawks trail by 2. And they've thrown it away. The pass that was meant for Chuck Harmison, Greg Hubbard expected him to roll low. That didn't happen, and they turned the ball over.
And the Falcons still have to shoot it, though. There's 47 seconds. They're going to have to shoot it again.
Morrissey doing a job here on Everett, and doing it as effectively as anyone. Hill holding it up, looking for take the clock right down. Sean Dennis as they go to Johnson and Everett, and no whistle. Everett's left on the floor. 15 seconds left, and they turn it over again. The pass that was meant for Taylor didn't find its mark. There's been a whistle on the play, and it's gone against Greg Hubbard as he went in after it. So 2 late turnovers by Greg Hubbard could be costly here. 11 seconds left in the ball game. It'll be a Falcons ball. They lead by 2. They don't have to shoot the ball. Difficult for the Hawks to win from here, Tom.
Yes, but they're going to have to go from steals from here on out. That's the only way they can get the game, of course. Falcons with the ball, they'll be looking to protect it, and if I was them, I'd be looking to get it in the hands of Jerry Everett, because I don't think there's a better ball handler on the floor than him.
Well, we're in for an interesting 11 seconds here, I would think. Ken Cole just reminding his players of the situation. Well, they were talking about that situation with a timeout. As Michael Johnson was so rightly saying, they get the ball inbounds and they do get covered up and look like being held with a 5-second tie-up. Call a timeout the smart way, but he said don't call it when you're out of bounds. That's the American way, Tom.
That's right, the Americans can call it any time.
So they get it inbounds, a steal from Morrissey, but it goes back to the hands of Everett. And again, Morrissey got a hand on it. That play took 3 seconds off the clock. Still a Falcons ball.
Well, what a great effort by Benny Morrissey to try and pull it out of the fire.
He got a hand on it twice. Just didn't go to Hawks' hands when it came off. And plenty of players pushing and shoving underneath here. David Lindstrom trying to organise something from the side here. But it's a pretty tough situation here for the Hawks. In fact, that foul will go against Greg Hubbard. That will be the 5th team foul against the Hawks. And the Falcons opt to take the ball from the side. They have the option to shoot or take it from the side. Naturally, they take the side ball option with 7 seconds to go. So here it is again. Falcons ball out of bounds. In they come.
The players all over the floor, but it looks like that'll be it.
And there's another foul. That stops the clock with 3 seconds to go. That one going on Peter Rousel. Again, they take it from the side. So as each couple of seconds is wiped off the clock, so do the chances become wiped away of the Illawarra Hawks. You can see it all. 102-100. That's the Falcons' lead. 3 seconds to go. All the Falcons have to do is get this ball in safely. In the meantime, we're going to have the floor wiped up. Ken Cole just about to pick up his first road win of the year.
Well, let's see if the Falcons at least do the right thing and throw it towards their own basket.
David Lindstrom up with some instructions from the referee. Being told where to sit now by his opposing coach, Ken Cole. Oh dear, oh dear. What have we got here? What's the call?
I think it's an offensive foul. Benny Morrissey was knocked backwards, and they've called an offensive foul.
And he drove Peter Hill back into the bench, but the push, I saw Peter Hill go backwards into the bench.
They said that Benny Morrissey was pushed backwards, so it's an offensive foul.
So we've got a substitution taking place. Benny Morrissey going out. Lewis Jackson in.
The Collins should have a good look at it.
Jackson to make this inbounds pass. Someone has to shoot this ball in a hurry. Greg Hubbard gets it up and not in. That's the end of the ball game. The Falcons have won it. The Falcons have picked up a win here, 102 points to 100. The players exchange congratulations, an extraordinary end to this one. We've had some crazy finishes to games here at the Snake Pit. That one was just a little bit different. Almost became an amazing finish for the Illawarra Hawks, but there's the jubilant coach Ken Cole taking his team off the court, and the final scoreline 102 to 100.
Well, there you have it, the Newcastle Falcons winning their second game in succession. And how do you read the form in the NBL? The Illawarra Hawks beating the Sydney Kings last week and then going down to the bottom side of the Newcastle Falcons. Maybe the Falcons are coming back. The youngsters are really playing well. Hope you enjoyed the action tonight. And don't forget, next Saturday evening, Newcastle Falcons entertain the Perth Wildcats, one of the superstar teams of the National Basketball League. And that should be some great action. If you can't get out to the game, watch it here on NBN for Saturday night shootout. On Sunday, Sports Centre Sunday, and then a big replay match on Sunday night. The match between Brisbane and Parramatta should be a beauty. From Mike Ribbit and everyone here at NBN, a very good evening to you.